Thursday. The Dallas Cowboys without their best player coming out of Zeke's mouth and Jerry Jones's mouth this morning on First Take, without their stud offensive lineman Zach Martin, who's out because of COVID, which I think might happen this season more than we think it's going to happen because of the way the world is now as opposed to last year. Last year, everybody was literally locked down. Everybody's in their houses. So there's no meet and greets on the streets whenever you're going to your car to potentially go to practice, or there's no neighbor interactions because everybody's locked in their house. Now, no matter how careful these players are going to be, they're going to have interactions with people. That's going to happen. There is going to be, with COVID, there is a chance that people are going to have it that you couldn't even expect. We still don't know where the fuck I got it from.
Yeah, no.
Just want to let everybody know. I was on the same plane, smaller plane, with 4 people for 4 hours after SummerSlam. Nobody else got it, okay, but me. So then I come into the office with the boys. I'm around the boys, very much so. Nobody else got it but me. Was it a DoorDasher at my house? Was it somebody that potentially showed up with a package that I grabbed over the... We have no idea where it's from, and there's going to be those types of things happen throughout the season, and we're going to see some big-name players out. Zach Martin for the Dallas Cowboys being out is a massive fucking deal.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott's coming back from a terrible, despicable, disgusting injury. Faster than any of us could have imagined because Dak Prescott's a badass. After watching Hard Knocks, I got nothing but more respect for that guy.
Absolutely.
Swears.
Right.
Competitive.
Yeah.
I fucking love him.
He's the man.
I'm a big Dak guy, but he's even got to think like, okay, after almost a career-ending injury, if this was 10 years ago and we didn't have modern science, like 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, don't fucking, you get it.
Yeah, just about.
At some point in recent, not too long history, what happened to him would have been a career ender. Now he's back the next season. Now first game against the champs, with Ndamukong Suh coming back, and that defense that is absolutely stacked. He's out his offensive weapon on the offensive line in Zach Martin. He's going to have to think about that. Zeke's obviously going to have to think about that, and we have to think about that when we're betting, and we must act accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady allegedly playing fucking lights out football right now. Everybody in the building is saying, hey, we're playing much better than we were playing last year, and that's because they learned a lot about each other, I think, last season. It wasn't until after that Atlanta game, second half comeback bye week, where they changed their entire offense, that they became the fucking team that we saw at the end of the year and that we all expected at the beginning of the year when they hadn't figured it out yet. This Buccaneers team might be a fucking wagon. It literally might be that. And with the Dallas Cowboys potentially going in a little bit wounded because COVID has hit their roster in some big spots, we got to remember that whenever we're watching shows like Hammer Don, at Tone Diggs here. Big money was made this weekend on college football. Where's the action looking on Thursday night? Is everybody hammering Tampa right now? And how much is the line moving with this COVID news?
60% of the bets are on Tampa. It opened at 6.5. It's up to 7.5. What I would say is the difference between 7.5 and 8, not that big. Like if it goes to 8, fine. Me though, if it gets down to 7, 7's a huge key number. If it gets down to 7, automatically jump on Tampa. But it may go up to 8, but it's not a big enough difference between 7.5 and 8 because
you like the Cowboys with the points, you're saying?
No.
No, you're just
I'm just saying
the line isn't telling you to move.
I'm saying let's wait to see what happens with the line. If it goes down to 7, I'm automatically jumping on the Bucks. If it goes up to 8, there's probably a good chance I may just still stay on the Bucks, but I would like to get it at 7 versus 7.5.
Got it, because of obviously the way scoring works
Correct.
in football. I think we
Right.
all understand the way scoring works, why certain numbers are potentially much more important and something you should look at as opposed to others whenever you're looking at the spreads. But this could be, we might be looking at, Jerry Jones was out here painting this as David and Goliath. He has spent like $7 billion building this team. They have the biggest stadium. They have the biggest fan base. And he's pitching this as David versus Goliath, as the Buccaneers being the Goliath. And if that's how you view your team, actually, why didn't you're willing to pay and trade for players. Why didn't you just bring in the players that they had? Then now you have to question his GM-ship for him saying this is David versus Goliath. But with all that being said, Big Mike McCarthy might have them Cowboys ready to fucking run. At Ty Schmidt, former Packer, great Mike McCarthy, obviously. Watching Hard Knocks, seeing him break things down. What do you think happens on Thursday night? Do you think the Dallas Cowboys are much better than they were last year? Or do you think it's going to be a rolling start before we got to get the fucking watermelons and the goddamn Mallets. Yeah, whatever the hell it is, dude. What do you think is going to happen with the Dallas Cowboys?
I think they'll definitely be better than they were last year. Obviously, Dak has got a lot to prove, I think, coming off his injury. But the big thing that I looked at is I believe Tom Brady's over-under for touchdown passes was 2.5. And if you remember last year, Dallas' secondary was fucking terrible, god-awful. I could see this being a big-time route. I mean, you read all the stuff is coming out of Tampa Bay, too, about Tom Brady, about how he's just
young.
Yeah, he feels like he's 24 again. He feels incredible.
Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times just did a sit-down with Tom outside. They paint the image always. He sat on a metal folding chair. Mm-hmm. You know, they always paint the picture, and I appreciate that from the great writers. But he said that Tom thinks that he's going to be the best he's ever been and the more agile he's ever been because he always wore that knee sleeve for 13 years for a little bit of stability. And he said, actually, what happens when you wear that knee sleeve, though, is it tightens up your quad, which also hinders your hamstring. And this is old Guerrero down there saying, hey, we got pliability. All right, that's what we're all about. But we've been learning whenever you fucking put a chokehold on that quad, it feels like there's not much pliability in that hamstring. We take that thing off, we get that MCL fix that you were dealing with every single day last season as a 40-plus-year-old playing his best football he's ever played, throwing more deep balls than he's ever thrown. And maybe the Randy Moss year is different. I'm not 100% sure, but you get it. He was battling an MCL, got surgery, no more brace, no more hindrance on his legs. He's Forrest Gump coming out of that fucking driveway, dude. The braces are popping off at this age, and there's no end in sight, Rick Stroud said it sounds like, for Tom Brady. That means he's driven. The undefeated thing was referenced yet again. It might be a problem at Boston Connor. You're going to have to continue to sit back and just watch this guy potentially build another dynasty down in Florida paying no state income tax. And he said living on the water. Every day it seems like there's a better day than the day before, he said down there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Boston's on the water, no big deal. But, I got my own dynasty to worry about. I'm not worried about an NFC dynasty. I'm worried about right now the Mac Jones era. But to Ty's point about Thursday, will be a blowout. I mean, 10.5, I would take the Bucs at strictly because I don't see Dak figuring out right away. You're missing your offensive lineman. You're coming off a terrible injury. Maybe a few games in, he's finally comfortable and able to kind of move around like he used to be. But right off the bat, that's hard to see. And plus, the Bucs are rolling. They're going to be raising a banner. I mean,
they didn't have Hard Knocks in there.
No Hard Knocks. No. Fans, packed out that are actually Bucs fans.
Tom gets a chance to actually play for Tampa Bay for the first time.
That's right.
Yeah.
The run out.
Oh, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Cannons.
Dude. AB's like plus 185, 155 to score a touchdown. That's what I'm high on. I do not see him scoring. I do not see him scoring.
Yeah, not going to see that. And you're not going to not bet on that whenever you see that type of stuff.
And you're not going to bet on the Bucs when, Brady's looking up at another banner like, oh, I can't wait for the next one.
And I'm